Hey guys, this is the Overleveled podcast, episode 29. Guys, we got a couple topics to talk about, including Sea of Thieves, Gamepass, PS Plus, Troy Baker with The Last of Us Part 2, Deadpool, X-Men Dark Phoenix, New Mutants, Doomsday Clock, Geoff Johns, Justice League, and Captain Marvel. So, quickly, we're going to talk about Sea of Thieves. And a couple of interesting tidbit of news has come out for Sea of Thieves, right? We got, we're going to talk about the good news, right? The amazing news that has been touted out that Xbox Sea of Thieves is the best-selling new IP for the, for Xbox's generation and not any other console. So that's cool. No numbers there. But they say that Sea of Thieves has 2 million unique players. Don't understand the unique players. That's interesting wording right there in of itself. And I think his name's Adam Greenberg, Microsoft marketing executive, right? People ask them, are these for it being the top selling new IP for Xbox's generation, does that include Game Pass? And they said no. So that's interesting to talk about because Microsoft worded this to make this sound like a big positive, right? Because we all know Xbox has Game Pass. You pay $10 a month or do the free trial for 14 days, and you get to play any game that is on Game Pass, including Gears of War 4, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, Crackdown 3, and etc. So we know that Game Pass with 2 million players is totally about the 2 million player. And Aaron Greenberg was saying, well, that's not including the, it being the top selling, new IP for Microsoft's first party studio. And I was like, okay, that's interesting wording because we do got like the retail for the UK, right? For Sea of Thieves, and it gives you a very interesting number here. And I will pull up real quick and to tell you what it sold that first week. Sold in the UK. Retail. Here we go. So it's so like about, I believe it says like 40K. 30 to 40K, I believe. If I am positive right now. Because I had a bookmark, but I can't find it. So. But thinking about that right now, that's interesting. Because retail is not doing so hot. They're not giving exact numbers on, the amount being sold that isn't Game Pass. And what do we think about this? What do we think Microsoft is doing some amazing PR and not actually giving real numbers on Sea of Thieves and trying to say, oh, this game is great. We got 2 million unique players. Like, what do we think? We'll start off with Inspector.
Wait, what about Game Pass?
For like Sea of Thieves,
oh, you're not giving the numbers?
They're saying it's 2 million unique players, but when it's them saying, it's the top selling new IP for the Xbox generation, they're saying it's not Game Pass, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then finding out it has low numbers in the UK for retail. So that doesn't add up, right?
Yeah, I think Microsoft is just kind of like, what they're doing is that they're overblowing their numbers just so they can get a story out of it or something. because, like, if you look at Sea of Thieves, it's pretty much a dead game, and it just came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one is playing it, and like, it might like. To me, Sea of Thieves didn't really interest me because it just was like multiplayer Black Flag, but worse than Black Flag. So, like, it just looks like a dumbed down version of Black Flag. And I feel what Xbox is doing is that I think they know they're going to get trounced by God of War when that comes out next month. So they're telling these numbers just so they can prove a point before God of War totally trounces them when it comes out.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. And plus, like, I don't think Andy's even. I think even Halo 5 undersold when it came out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's like Microsoft's biggest IP.
Exactly. All right, Marvel DC fan, what do you think about, Xbox and them being very vague with the actual like sold statistics of Game Pass and not Game Pass, and what do you think about all this?
I think what I kind of just get from it is that Microsoft is kind of just trying to over exaggerate things and trying to not just come out and say that they messed up. Because I mean, for me, Sea of Thieves, like when I've seen the marketing and stuff like that, like it never interested me. And and of course, like all these like news that they've been saying to the public and stuff, it's just them trying to cover their ass and try and get some notoriety back, because PlayStation, all of them are just pummeling them into the ground. So I think that's kind of my understanding about it, about the whole situation, and how Sea of Thieves just didn't really impact much. So,
all right, Claudia, what do you think about this news?
Well, firstly, I think you're right. They are covering up something. They're just trying to make a big story of it. And the second thing is, Sea of Thieves is probably one of the worst Xbox exclusive games that they've had since Gears of War 4, since that game came out. It's probably one of the worst games ever, I'm afraid to say. Even though people are going to say, oh, but you're just comparing a Gear. How can you compare Gears of War to this? It's simply because there's no, like, the game is pretty much a repetitiveness. Very repetitiveness, and there's no, like, additional things to go with it. And, like, they've got this thing called legendary status, so you can name the ship and stuff like that. Yeah, but it's too much of a grindy thing to do.
Yeah, and I would say like that, right? To add to what you're saying, there's no real benefit to have this legendary status because anybody can kill you.
Yeah.
There's no like. I'll even compare it like to DC Universe Online, right? Yeah. You see a level 30, level 40, whatever. You're not gonna mess with them and challenge them to like a match. Right. You know you're gonna get your ass handed to you because they're higher level. They've grinded more. They have better stats than you. But in Sea of Thieves, anyone can kill anyone.
Exactly.
There's no progression system.
There's no progression system, and on top of that, there's not even going to be DLC for it, like Battlefront 2. Like the way Battlefront 2 is right now, it's like there's no DLC for that game, and it's pretty much a dead game. And Sea of Thieves has only just come out for how many weeks now? 2 weeks.
This is the second week, yeah.
It's already dead. Within a week, it's already dead.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this is the worst thing Xbox could have for since Gears of War 4, which was back in 2016. No, 2016, 2015, yeah.
Gears 4 bombed hard.
Yeah, Gears of War 4 bombed really hard within 3 days. This lasted only 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it's like Xbox needs to get their head out their asses and start thinking, okay, we need to put more third party involved and get more other indie developers that can make better games, not one game that can rip off another one, which they did with Sea of Thieves, which ripped off Black Flag. Let's put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll say this: I do think there will be content for Sea of Thieves, like DLC. Now, will it be too late when it comes out? I think so. I think they're not going to garner or get back that user base that was on there for the first 24 hours. Because, right, if you wanted to make this big online service type of game or MMO like WoW or Star Wars The Old Republic or DC Universe Online, you have to have content, a progression system to have those players, wanting to finish everything and do everything and have quests that aren't repetitive. And enemy variations that those games do have. And I think that that's what they need to do. And they just failed there. And you got somebody on Reddit that claimed to be a dev that I think he was the artist that worked on it. One of the artists in the game that said, dude, the game is dull, repetitive, and he left like 2 years before the game came out. So that can give you more perspective into what people on the, I guess, development team has to think, or former people in the dev team. And I think it's kind of ridiculous because we'll go back to Game Pass. You have people that are the extremists or the fanatics of Xbox that say that this game isn't for everyone. And I'm like, okay, isn't that kind of like self-explanatory in of itself? Nothing is for everyone. I understand that. But you cannot just say that these problems that people have with the game, it's a you problem. I've seen that on Twitter. It's a you problem. Like, wait, what? It's a me problem that they didn't finish creating the Kraken's body? It's a me problem that there's no progression system. It's a me problem that there's no enemy variation. It's a me problem lacking of content. It's a me problem of boring, gun gameplay, sword fighting. It's a me problem, lack of content. It's a me problem of just not having things to do. And I think if you want your platform to succeed and you want that platform to, have better games, you need to speak up and say so. If you're going to defend those said games, you're going to get those same level of designs for games. And that is why some devs have become lazy throughout the generations, because they can get away with it and people will defend them no matter what. And I think that's disgusting. And dude, I called out Sony for their servers shutting down for that FIFA thing. I've called out Sony for knack, and I don't care for knack. And I've called out Sony for the repetitive gameplay and the order and all that stuff, because I want better games. I want better things from Sony. And I'm able to criticize the platform that I have. I criticize the Switch for the lack of social aspects to it and all of that. And I want Xbox to get better games because I have a PC, and guess what? I'm able to play Xbox games. Gears of War, Sea of Thieves, all these games, Quantum Break. I have Quantum Break. I have Rise. And guess what? I want better from those games, so I'm able to play said games. Without criticism, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get the best out of the platform, and you're going to get mediocrity or anything below. But guys, what do you think about this defense that the extremists have, that it's a you problem? It's their go-to defense for Sea of Thieves or any better game.
It's stupid. Oh, sorry, Phil. I gotta let you go.
Me personally, it's like they need to get the head straight and think about it. They need to think about it properly before speaking. It's like, guys, come on. Like, the developers messed up. So the it's not the console's fault, but it's the developers' fault at the end of the day. They didn't really think about it properly and say, okay, we can make this game, but we need to make a game that can actually last for a long time. And that's the problem with Sea of Thieves. It's like as soon as I saw this game, like when it had the demo, I was like, this game's gonna get repetitive, and I was right. It got to the point where it's repetitive, and me as as a streamer base, it's not a game I wouldn't stream it, but I know that people that I know who stream that game say that it's not even worth playing. You play for a day, then that's it. There's nothing, else to do on this thing. It's too hard of a game to grind on, too much to thing. And I know people do have their own opinions to say, oh, look, you know what, you're only saying this because you hate on Sea of Thieves, but we like Sea of Thieves. But guys, let's be realistic here, man. You got to think about it logically. Would you rather have a game that actually does bring out more content every month, or like Fortnite does, or would you want a game that actually doesn't give you content? I would pick a game that actually gives content like every month, like Fortnite does. That's the way I would want it to be, but that's not that's not happening with Sea of Thieves at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Inspector, did you have anything to say? Because I know you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say something. I pretty much agree with Claudia, where the problem with the fans is that they just vote with their heads and out their wallets, because they just want to support everything Xbox, and I get it, but there's a thing where if you're defending a game with all these shady business practices, and like a company that's like kind of hiding their real numbers, that shows kind of how insecure you are, that you're like defending all this even though it's wrong. And like, you can't tell a person that it's their problem that they bought a game. Like, it's just very arrogant. Just like, oh, like, sorry about that, or whatever. Like, it's just the way like all these hardcore fans work. It's
and especially like,
can't please them.
Yeah, and like then they go around like, where I guess like fans for PlayStation at the beginning of the generation liked indie games, and Xbox is like, indie games suck, and then when they don't have like AAA games, they go to indie games, and it was like, wait a minute, didn't you guys just say that you guys don't like indie games? So why are you hyping up indie games now? It just doesn't make sense. It's just the logic isn't there. And it's just very illogical with them.
Yeah.
It's like, power doesn't matter. Oh, Xbox One X, power does matter. It's like, wait a minute. It's like, all right, whatever. It's like, it's absurd. Marvel DC fan, what do you think about this? It's a you problem defense for the extremists.
I think with me and how I kind of would go off on it is telling them, like, take a good, long, hard look at the full picture before you go and just make random accusations and stuff like that. Because, like, me, it's hard to put into words how, like, I feel. Because I want, like you said, it's like, I like encourage opinions and that kind of thing, but like for those who are just, they just look at everything and say that, that product or whatever, the game, whatever, is just perfect. They just need to take a look and just rethink before anything.
Yeah.
I really got nothing on it. So
I got you. All right. So now we're going to get into the next topic. And we're going to... I'm going to quickly say I finished... Because there was a sale I got for the Season 2, I think, Enemy Within. I think I finished all of it. And what can I say? I think it was like a 7 out of 10 experience for me. I think what saved it was mostly the latter half, or like the later half of the season. Like, that's what I think.
Which is weird because season 1 was the complete opposite. Where
the
first half was good, and then the second half just went downhill.
Yeah, I think it's mostly because of like, I felt like you're less Batman in like the first half of the season. Well, scratch that. Episode 1, you were mostly Batman, but then the rest, like episode 2, 3, and depending on your decisions with 4, you wouldn't be Batman. But with my playthrough, I was in that episode and stuff. I thought it was, your choices didn't have much of a consequence until actually the last episode. Because that's, I guess, Telltale's problem, right? Telltale has like this big problem. I think what I want to say after The Wolf Among Us, in terms of not changing, or Borderlands, I might say Borderlands. I'll say Borderlands. And they're not able to construct a way where your choices have consequences, or your choices matter, right? They'll go into a path where you'll always still end up the same. And that'll be with The Walking Dead. And Batman, right? And that's the big issue I've always had with Telltale at the point where I'm just going to wait until there's a sale. I'm not going to always buy it full price now. Because I'm getting to that point where I'm kind of getting sick and tired of Telltale doing that. And then I liked the last episode, though. But I can understand also the issues, right? Because I know people have a problem with how they've handled Joker or John Doe, whatever you want to say. And, they've always stated, that they're going to do their own thing, which, at least they're upfront about something like that. Now, I can understand the purists that say that's now should be handled, that it should be handled this way. And then that comes to the issue with Batman and then having a Telltale game about Batman. Because when you have choices involved with it, at the core, you still want Batman to be Batman and say it's Batman type of dialogue. But then you want to create your own Batman. So then there's that conflict of the purists and then the people wanting to create Batman. Right? But then the issue comes with the story. And we see it with the season 1 towards the later part of it, like Inspector was saying, where it kind of falls flat. And there wasn't that emotional impact that you felt. Like, you felt like, okay, it ended. I'm not that excited for the next season. Whereas this one kind of left that impact that you kind of desire. And that, again, can cause conflict of people saying, well, why are you giving that type of choice? Because Batman purists would say the easy option's there, but I'm not going to try and spoil things, like right at the ending. And I understood what they were trying to do, because that character was very integral in the whole, Batman mythos. And that's why I'm very vague, because a lot of characters are integral to the Batman mythos. But, yeah, and I did like that type of decision, but then I can understand why people wouldn't. So that's why I say, like, if the Batman purists want a Batman game, Telltale Batman's not for you. That's why I would always recommend the Arkham games for, like, the Batman purists. And for me, like, the writing got better towards the ending. And that's what I didn't like, the writing in the first half of it. Now, I thought the fights were a lot more better handled. But yeah, some of the pacing was off in the first half, and that's why I give it like a 7 or a 7.5. But any questions from you guys?
No, I have the season myself, and I just I haven't played the last episode yet, and I've actually kind of spoiled myself on it.
Son.
But yeah, like I know what they're trying to do and all that. You know, it's its own entity, and you know, for those purists, like if they don't like it, then go play the Arkham games. But I think I felt the same way where a lot of the first half of the season was just it was just kind of dull, and it wasn't really interesting to go
it wasn't
through,
like a Batman story. It was more of like
it was
spy. It was a spy type of thing, which I was like,
Yeah.
that's why I didn't like
and
that
then
portion.
probably about like near the end where it starts to pick up again. But
Yeah. So
but,
well,
You see,
I haven't touched it just because I was so sour from the
Yeah.
last episode of the first season.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm not interested in season 2. Plus, like, I hated Riddler's design,
Mhm.
and I'm like,
The only thing I liked, I'll say this. I'm sorry interrupting you. The only thing I liked about Riddler's design was the voice actor, and I've always recognized that voice actor for a lot of video games and animation, anime. Dude is from like straight up like Metal Gear Solid. That dude's a legendary voice actor. I was like, dude, I forgive the Riddler design because of the voice. But no, I can still understand. I can still understand the complaints about the design.
Yeah, like I don't mind his design too much, but like I would think that if you're doing a Riddler who's been a criminal before and just coming back, it's weird to have like this nice suit and then just a hood with it. So like,
and that kind of
like if he took the hood off, then I mean I don't think it would be too far off from what we know of the Riddler. Like, just give him like a bowler hat or something like that.
Yeah,
it might be better.
And I was saying, like, that also creates continuity issues. Like, just like you had this type of guy that never mentioned in season 1, and he just comes back. Where the Lady Arkham, right, was the first one people keep mentioning, the first villain, but it was actually the Riddler. So it doesn't make sense.
That's the problem. Okay, I like the Riddler as a villain, but the problem is that writers consistently botch the Riddler in the comics. I think this is a main problem. This has been a main problem ever since Hush. Because if you've read Batman Hush, which I assume all of you have,
yes,
the big twist at the end is that Riddler was behind everything. And that's basically been an easy out twist for the end of a Batman story since then. Like Batman Eternal, like Riddler was the main villain. And that was like a huge Hush twist too, and that's why I didn't like Batman Eternal that much. And like that's why, because the thing is that many writers don't know how to write Riddler well. They either give him crappy riddles, like riddles that are like so easy that like your grandmother can solve them, or the riddles are just too complex and like have too many different holes in them that they're not good riddles at all. So yeah, and like I think the Riddler was written well in the animated series. He was written well in the Arkham games. I mean, take or leave how he sets all those trophies everywhere, but like, I think his riddles were actually really good by themselves. And he was done really well in Batman Earth 1 by Geoff Johns. If you haven't read Batman Earth 1, it's really good. And I think if you want a Batman story that's different, but doesn't really like take away from Batman, read Batman Earth 1. because it's kind of the same. Because what they did is that, like, instead of Martha, yes, I said her name. Don't ask me why I said her name.
Why'd you say that?
Martha, they actually, like, in that story, she was actually in Arkham. So Bruce Wayne is like half Arkham, and it's like a really cool thing, like a really cool like dichotomy, because like Bruce was like a childhood, like he had a childhood crush on Harvey Dent's sister, and Harvey Dent hated Bruce Wayne because he's like, oh, he's an Arkham, so he's crazy. All Arkhams are crazy and all that stuff. So it was like really interesting.
I didn't know about that.
And Penguin was mayor in like the first volume, and I don't want to spoil how that ends up because it's actually really, it's one of the most awesome deaths and also one of the funniest deaths as well. But Batman Earth 1 is really fun, even though Batman fails upwards like all through the book.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For me, here's the thing. For me, about Batman Telltale, season 2 is just like, it's like it just didn't click with me because, the thing was like first it was about the Riddler, like everything, like the riddles and all that was really fun. The first episode, you really understood it. It went down to the spy thing, episode 2, 3, and 4, and then when you got towards episode 5, you got back to Batman again, and like I was like, okay.
Well, I say 4 wasn't the spy thing anymore. Like that, they'd done away with it.
They got away with that, but the thing is, though, like 2 and 3, kind of midway, it's like kind of people got off that thing, and it's like, I'll be honest with you, right? Episode 5 was okay, but I felt as if not many people were going to be interested in season 3 anyway, because I think the 2 seasons is enough as it is, even though they left a big cliffhanger, with 2 different endings. They're like,
I'll say this, right? Because I think you watched it most likely, and like for me, what I said I liked about it was that there's 2 different play style. Like there's 2, like they actually did that, which I thought was that was good. They went back to their roots. They actually was like, your choices mattered. You got this version to do, or you got this version to do. Yeah. And that's what I really, really liked about them.
So they left it on 2 different endings.
Yeah, 2 different. Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, those, like, there's also a post-credit scene as well, which leads up to, thinking, what's going to be the next game. And it's not going to be a season 3, I can assure you on that. It's because basically the sales wasn't that really high with season 2, pretty much compared to season 1. It's like, nah, they're not gonna push themselves for season 3.
I don't know. Like for me, it's like even The Walking Dead Telltales aren't high like at all anymore.
No, but it's like they've done Batman back to back, year after year. So they'll take a break. Mm-hmm. They'll definitely take a break from doing Batman for maybe.
Oh yeah, they're going to, because you got The Walking Dead season finale, right? Yeah. And they got The Wolf Among Us.
Yeah.
Which hopefully, and I'll be pissed off if they do The Walking Dead first. I'm going to get furious because that's actually back to back for a year for The Walking Dead.
How much money do you want to bet if that's going to be the case?
I'm going to be pissed.
That's going to be the case, man. I'm telling you, The Walking Dead is going to be the next thing coming from Telltale. No, that's going to be the case with them because, like, they did Batman back to back. They did Guardians before that, and then before that, they did The Walking Dead. And it's like, okay, so they've done this much games, and some of the projects which they were supposed to work on got scrapped, got cancelled. So it's like, any new project ideas they were going to do, they just stopped making them because they had to fire some employees and stuff like that.
Yeah, they laid off some.
Yeah, they laid off employees and stuff like that. So it's got me thinking that, okay, whatever they're working on right now is going to be the next game, and it's probably the Walking Dead.
I really hope not, dude. I've been waiting too many years for the Wolf Among Us.
Yeah, a lot of people have, but this is Telltale we're talking about here, man. This is Telltale we're talking about. They would do shit. They would do shit like this and say, "All right, we'll give you guys another season of the same game of the same, type of game."
The only bright side for The Walking Dead is the last season.
Exactly.
Which I'm glad about, to be honest.
That's the only bright side of it. I mean, other than that, it's like you guys are just giving us the same, doing the same thing year after year. Giving us the same type of name. Well, from The Walking Dead, or if it's Batman, you'll give us another Batman game. It's like, no, people don't want that. They want something different. It needs to be a different story each time. We can't have the same, not story, sorry, same IP. It should be a different IP each time. That's the way I feel. But we'll never know, man. We still got the end of the year still got to come. E3 is coming up as well.
I mean, I would assume that the next Telltale game comes out next month. There's probably going to be a trailer the week or 2 weeks
before E3.
Well, no. I'm saying next month.
You're saying next month? Okay.
Like around April-ish. Or maybe even May, to be honest, because we're in the ending of March.
Yeah.
So it's either April or beginning of May. Where we get.
I'd say May, because that's the way I see it. It's because
Wolf Among Us or The Walking Dead. That's it.
Walking Dead. Calling it now. Walking Dead.
Well, that's what I got for Telltale. I thought they did great on the later half. Still 7 out of 10 right now for me for the whole season.
It's just that they let a lot of people down, though, because in terms of the whole spy thing, they let people down on that.
No, that's why I said, like, the first half for me is just the pacing was not that great, and that's the issue.
I mean, that's what I'd rather prefer. If you're going to really want to get that full Batman experience, stick to the Arkham games.
So that's why I said it's like the purists and you wanting your Batman in that certain frame and not having those choices, then that's the way to go. That's what I said. It's like, for me, it's like the best place to play all your Arkham games. PC. That's what I think.
No, never PC. Console.
No, fam. Not after that Arkham remastered. No way.
No way. No way.
I don't want to look at constipated Batman every freaking time.
Say PC than anything because
exactly.
You would say you would say PC out of a console?
Yes, dude. You want to look at constipated Batman every 5 minutes, or not
60
every
frames per second?
Every second in Arkham Asylum, and then bright blue eyes, super bright blue eyes in Arkham City.
So, in Arkham Knight, right? You'd rather prefer play that on PC than Xbox or PlayStation.
Well, it's not a mess anymore that it was when it launched,
same. So. Exactly, 60 FPS.
Oh shit! Then why didn't you say that?
What do you? I mean, it's PC. What? It's self-assumed. What? Well, okay, guys. We're gonna go to the next topic.
All right.
All right. So right now we got 2 more gaming topics, and then we're done. Troy Baker was doing, I think, what Todd was talking about, some live stream, and he was with Nolan North. I think someone asked him a question about The Last of Us Part 2, and he was talking about it, saying that he played a playtest of The Last of Us Part 2, and no, he did not go and play the whole entire game. That's not what a playtest is. That's not what's the actual official terminology when person goes through the whole game looking for glitches? That's like a
QA,
like beta testing.
No, not beta test. When the devs say they're doing those final tests,
they're doing a test run.
Yeah, to see if there's any glitches, but it's almost the final build.
I mean, I think they just call it a test run or just QA.
Okay, because I forgot what the God of War was saying and Spider-Man was saying, but it's not this terminology. Playtests what I assume is a section of the level.
Yeah, playtest is just like a vertical slice of the game.
It's not like they're not done.
Like think of like an E3 demo as like a playtest.
Yeah, so like Troy Baker was playing a section of the game, and he said it was really, really good. Now, I know where people will be like, "Hey, he's supposed to say that," you know?
Yeah.
I mean, he is. I mean,
he is. He's not gonna bash the game he's in.
Yeah, exactly. But there have been actors that don't do this type of stuff, so they don't have to say anything about the movie they're in. That you have those actors that don't go socially and like talk about their movies because they're not confident in the product. Now, if you're gonna go up and say something in an interview and he has to do, you know, whatever you call the press junket and stuff, like he's gonna say something. But this is more of a thing where he's like, no, like he's able to do this social media activities and he'll answer that question, even though, you know, it's like he's not directly asked us online, you know, with a question. And he answered. He was like, "Yeah, I played it. It was great," and that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Now, granted, you know, people will say, you know, he's paid to say that. I mean, he's working on the game, but you know that to me, I'm great because he's on social media platforms, and he's not going to go AWOL or anything like that. But what do you guys think? You know, I'm gonna start off with Inspector.
I think okay. I blanked out. Sorry.
You know, about Troy Baker playing the vertical slice.
Yeah, of course. Like, of course he's gonna say what he said. He's a main actor in the game. Like, and Troy Baker's like really, like he's really like big on social media. So, but, like, of course he's not gonna spoil anything, but like, of course he's gonna say like, oh, it's great. I mean, I think a lot of people expect it to be great, so I don't think what he said is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Even though he's paid by Naughty Dog to say that it's great.
Mm-hmm.
But even if he wasn't paid, I would believe him.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like it's not like one of those movies where like it's getting terrible reviews, but yet like all the actors are praising it because they have to, because they're on a press junket and they have to keep a happy face throughout the interviews. Like, cough cough, Justice League. 'Cause you could definitely tell no offense, they did their best, but like you can tell that they weren't really happy
with the cut.
You could just tell that they were tired and they were like, we don't really want to do interviews right now, but we kind of have to.
Mm-hmm. Especially
Ben Affleck. Like, Ben Affleck was like totally checked out. Like, no offense to Ben Affleck, but like, I'm getting off topic now, but you can move on, Redhead.
All right. Well, what about you, Marvel DC fan? What do you think?
As long as it's like you're not spoiling anything, I think it's perfectly fine. Like, if you just go out and say like, "Oh, I played the game, it's great," like I think it's fine. So that's it.
Okay, that's all out. Yeah. What about you?
What do I think about?
Yeah.
I think it's good, and I agree. I'm on the same level with Marvel DC fan.
Okay. Good.
I'm the same wavelength to what he said, and there's nothing really more I can really add to it.
I gotcha. All right. So, last gaming topic, and this has to do with, and of course, the game PS Plus and Gamers with Gold. And this is very interesting because I'm not gonna lie, game people with Games with Gold actually got a decent game this time, and I'm glad that Microsoft was listening to people say, listen, your Games with Gold has been really, really, really bad. And what I mean by bad, it's been shit. Not gonna lie. So quickly say PS Plus, you're going to be getting Mad Max, and that's the game that was cross-gen, and it's very interesting for a multitude of reasons. Because, this came out for... and I thought it was a good game. Now, did it sell well? No. It was made by WB. But, it's a good game that I recommend people playing. It has that Arkham gameplay-esque, and you kind of see that with the WB games going forward because their games now are kind of inspired from, the Arkham series, and that's not a bad thing. It's a very good gameplay to have, and I'm not, mad for them doing that, and I think that's a good open world game. Never finished it, granted. I always played on PC. I haven't finished it. I will probably get back into finishing the game. Don't know when, but yeah, I think that's actually the only good game that is on the PS Plus. Then you got Trackmania Turbo. Never heard of it. In Space We Brawl. This is PS3 now. Toy Home PS3. 99 Vitas. PS Vita. Qbert rebooted. Now, we take out Mad Max. I think the rest is shit. So, I don't think this is that great of a lineup for PS Plus. And yeah, I'm gonna criticize PlayStation when I don't see something that is good for PlayStation. Only good thing I see is the Mad Max. Everything else, when you compare it to last month from March to the PS Plus, that is phenomenal. Now you got this, and it's like, it's just not that great.
You sure it was phenomenal?
The last one? Oh, yeah. March?
Mighty Number 9?
Like, man, no one's talking about that shit. We're talking about Bloodborne, right, and we're talking about Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
No one's talking about that shit.
Yes. God damn it.
So, what do we think, guys? For me, it's a miss. I mean, they got one good game, Mad Max, but what do we think, Inspector?
Yeah, it's pretty lackluster. Even Mad Max, just because I've seen gameplay and Let's Plays of Mad Max. It's one of the most barren. I know it's in the desert, but
oh yeah,
it's one of.
I see what you did there.
Most. It wasn't supposed to be a joke, but no pun intended. But it just seemed like very empty. It didn't look that appealing to me, just because I don't find the desert that appealing.
Yeah, no.
But it did have it did have the Arkham style combat, but Arkham Asylum, where we're still kind of a bit clunky. They still haven't ironed out all the stuff yet.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say with Arkham Asylum. Arkham Asylum was good. The combat was still a bit clunky because Arkham Asylum was the game that I dropped the most combos in because Batman would just randomly punch the air for some reason. The targeting would be off and you would just punch the air and my combo would end.
Right.
And the animations looked a little bit stiff to me. The punches were really stiff.
Well, you gotta keep in mind, at the time when Asylum came out, this was.
Oh, not Asylum. I'm talking about.
He's talking about Batman.
Oh, okay.
No, I think overall, Asylum's combat was smooth, but a bit, still the animations were really smooth. But with Mad Max, I feel the animations were kind of stiff. And it looked very repetitive to me and kind of boring. Most open world games are repetitive because you do the same thing over and over again. That's why I don't like when they say, "Oh, this game is so repetitive," because it's how they use the repetitiveness. If it's repetitive and it gets boring, then that's fine. But if it's repetitive and you have fun with it, repetitiveness shouldn't be an issue. All games are repetitive because you do the same thing in every game.
Mm-hmm.
It's an open world game. You just explore. and you punch people in the face. Like, people praise GTA, and GTA is one of the most, like, repetitive games there is. Like, all you do is, like, drive around and, like, have shenanigans ensue. And, like, fighting games are repetitive, and, like, all this stuff. It's just how you use that repetitiveness to your favor. So,
Yeah.
other than that, like, all the other games, like, I don't care about.
I got you.
It's very weak lineup.
Okay. What about you, Marvel DC fan? What do you think about this lineup? And you can also compare it to the March lineup for PS.
I mean, like, this month's list it's mostly disappointing for me. I mean, the only thing that's kind of interesting and I might want to try out is Mad Max and Trackmania. Like, I played a demo of it a long time ago, and I didn't hate it, so maybe I might play it, but everything else is just...
Like, Trials?
It's...
Or...
God, I don't even remember anymore. It had something to do with vehicles, if I'm not mistaken.
Your own track game.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but compared to last month, this lineup it's pretty poor, in my opinion. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, Talati, what do you think about PS Plus this month?
Looks like some good deals.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
opposite from all of them.
Sorry, say that again.
Nah, he was just saying, coming from the Xbox guys, very surprising.
Okay, it's Vector. I see what you're doing, but it's like, nah. I think some of the games you guys some decent games. I'll probably pick up if I was on PS4. I would probably pick up one or two, just to see what it's like, innit? You know what I mean? It's not about if you haven't played them, then you don't know what it's all about. But I would probably pick up one or two. That's just me.
Bam. That's a surprising twist.
Yes, and before Inspector says it, I know it might have been surprising, but wait until you hear about the Xbox side of it. Dang, you can say.
All right, okay, that's all right, man. I was like, wow, because all of us, me, Inspector, Marvel DC fan, were just crapped on the PS Plus lineup.
You just pulled a 180 on us and just went off like that.
Yeah, I am surprised. That was a plot twist within a plot twist. That's
he M. Night Shyamalan does, Redhead.
Oh,
M. Night Shyamalan does.
Shoot. All right, so now we're gonna talk about all Xbox games with gold for April 2018 release. So we got The Witness. I heard it's a good game. Heard it's a good indie game. This is so weird. So I never even realized this, but so it's like games with gold. It goes like April 1st through April 30th for The Witness. Then Assassin's Creed Syndicate, April 16th to May 15th. Disney's Pixar's Cars 2. April 1st to April 15th. That's Xbox One and Xbox 360. I'm assuming this is backwards compatible. That's why. And Dead Space 2. That was originally on 360, and they're putting Xbox One, but because you have backwards compatibility, you can download it on the Xbox One. So I'm just talking about primarily the Xbox One. The Witness, I've heard good things about it, and that's great. If you have games with gold, you get it. And Assassin's Creed Syndicate, way better than Unity. I think that's also
Assassin's Creed games,
and that's good. And to me, if I would compare games with gold with PS Plus, games with gold actually crapped on PS Plus this time around. Now Disney's Pixar's Cars 2, though.
Why?
That's terrible.
Is that a backwards compatible?
Yeah, it's a backwards compatible game. They put Xbox One and 360, but
like same thing with like it's the same thing with like Mighty Number 9 last month for PS Plus. It's like they had the
Well,
putting that one crappy
that's
game.
different though. Like, you know, that's like the oh, okay, you're talking about that. I thought you were talking about the compatibility because
No,
what they did there is
that
the cross buy thing. That's
Yeah.
why you can get it on PS4 and PS3.
Yeah, it's yeah, I gotta agree with you that this month's Game with Gold is way better than both last month's Game with Gold and this month's PS Plus games.
Exactly.
It's yeah, as you said, what was the first game before Syndicate? Oh, The Witness.
The Witness. I heard good things
Witness,
about it.
like I don't really follow reviews anymore, so I don't really have the buzz for it. But as you said, like Syndicate was really good. Like if I were to rank the Assassin's Creed games, it would probably go 2 Brotherhood, Black Flag, and then Syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
And because I really like the characters in Syndicate. I think the story was really fun, and I liked London as a city. So it had a good atmosphere to it, and I preferred playing as Evie more than Jacob, just because I like more of the stealth aspect of Assassin's Creed than like the fist fighting. And I liked how they kind of smoothed out the combat, because Unity had like really clunky combat and it was like really bad. Like that's one of the many problems with Assassin's Creed Unity. But like the combat being very clunky because they like changed the combat system in Unity and it was like really bad. And they basically, cause why they did that in Unity is because people were saying, oh, it's just counter chains for like Assassin's Creed before Unity was basically just like you counter one person, then you just kill everyone.
It's like instant, man.
Yeah.
It started with Assassin's Creed 2.
No, it started with Brotherhood.
Oh, okay.
With Brotherhood, you could start the chains. Like you could counter one person and just chain.
Oh,
or Assassin's Creed 2, you had to like counter everyone.
Yeah.
Even though in Assassin's Creed 2, like everyone just came at you one at a time.
Oh yeah.
And like Syndicate basically just had the Arkham combat, which was fine.
Mm.
It was a bit slower than the Arkham combat, but it was like it was the Arkham combat but slower. So and it was good.
Yeah, I would say though, if you guys like that stuff, look up like this Assassin's Creed 3 video. This dude was like killing hundreds and hundreds of red coats. I was like, what? You see bodies piling everywhere. I'm like, oh my gosh, instant kill everywhere.
He just goes into the floor and just kills everyone.
Oh yeah, dude. I was just like, what?
I like as much crap as I give Assassin's Creed 3, because I think it's like one of the weakest games in the series next to the first one. But like I really like the different kills that you can have with like dual wielding stuff, like the tomahawks and the rope dart. I just love hanging people from trees with the rope dart.
Oh, dude, I remember that. Some good stuff there.
Yeah, and the muskets, you just charge in with a musket, killing everyone.
Oh shit. Exactly. All right. Marvel DC fan, what do you think about Games of Gold this month?
Could you run through the list again? I was grabbing food, so I was paying attention.
I got you. So you got The Witness for Xbox One, Assassin's Creed Syndicate for also Xbox One. Then you got the 360 games like Disney, Pixar's Cars 2, and Dead Space 2.
I think, like, the list it's all right. Like, I don't know why Cars is there of all games, but, I mean, you gotta have it there's some audience for it, so if I had an Xbox One and if I had gold at all, then I'd probably pick up most of these games.
Yep.
But, yeah.
All right, Taladia, what do you think? You're an Xbox guy. What do you think Games of Gold does for April?
Not bad. Not bad. I don't know why Cards is on there. Wouldn't pick it up. But Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I can see myself picking that one up. But yeah, overall, it's not a bad month. I would pick Assassin's Creed. If you haven't played Assassin's Creed games, then I would recommend picking it up. And yeah, this month is it's an okay month for Xbox Live.
Huh.
For
Interesting.
Xbox Go, so.
Huh. Yeah, I call a request for you streaming a game.
You don't request anything from me.
I request, dude. Yeah, you gotta take the request.
What is the request?
I want you to download Dead Space 2 for Games with Gold.
Can't.
Live stream it.
Can't.
How can you not?
Busy.
Busy. Boy, come on.
Busy? Yeah, I'm going to
No.
gaming event this weekend.
Okay, but you can still download it and keep it. And then stream it later.
Money is tight, bro.
Well, what do you mean? Dude, it's free. You're like, what? Come on now. That game is free. You have you know,
Alright, I'll
Fox
make you
Gold.
I'll download it, but I'll download it when I get time. Okay? Because I'm very busy working on things.
It's April 16th to the 30th you got to download this.
Well, between then till 30th, so I've got, got a lot of stuff I'm working on. But
it's one simple button. One simple button to download something. And you leave it to download.
okay. Next topic.
Mm-hmm. Man. Dude, I bet you I'd be like Marvel DC fan. Download this game if it's for free. You know what he's gonna do?
I would do that.
Exactly. My man, Marvel DC fan. Taladi, I thought you were like Marvel DC fan. Make me sad. Gosh dang. Alright. After that disappointment of request, I guess now we have to talk about. Now, we're going into the movie side of things. Alright. So, Avengers, Infinity War. There's a couple things to talk about, and I think the first thing to talk about is a bit of a rant. I forgot who this journalist is, but he was talking about the poster of Avengers Infinity War. I would be totally fine if he was like, this looked like Thor Ragnarok. Okay, that's fine. Understand that criticism. Okay, it looks a bit, too much coloring and, a lot of stuff in there. That's understandable. A lot of characters. Kind of hard to make a poster of like 20, main characters. But what he talks about is something so dumb. And he's like, no, why is Black Panther not in the center? Why is Iron Man in the center?
Oh,
And then I was like, wait a minute. You got issue with Iron Man being in the forefront. And Black Panther is still a main character. The battle is, set at Wakanda. But you have a problem with Iron Man. The person, that movie starting the MCU, you think it should now be solely focused on Black Panther. Like, come on now. Like, I'm glad that Black Panther did so much. And I thought the movie was fantastic. But you're getting to this point of this, I guess, acting like... I don't want to say... I don't know what the correct word is. And I don't want to, say something that's, incorrect, but I hate how people have to say, now, this person needs to be in the forefront. Because this movie made all the money. Without Iron Man, these movies wouldn't exist. That, or later down the line, we don't know in the future if it would exist. We're talking about now, and he rightfully deserves to be on it. I don't understand this point of, he needs to be the new leader. Black Panther needs to be the one leading the charge. Black Panther needs to be the person to unite all the Avengers. That's like saying, I like Wonder Woman, right? Great movie. That's like saying Wonder Woman recruits all the like Justice League and becomes like the sole leader of the Justice League. Like, I don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point. You know, I've always thought Superman, you know, is the person that's like the leader.
Yeah.
Most of the time, majority of the time.
Well,
Yeah.
well, DC would like you to think that Batman is the leader.
No, like I'm a Batman fan, right?
You know,
But I know he's not the leader.
He's Batman, though.
Amen. You know, I'm a Batman fan.
I know. I like Superman more as the leader,
Yeah.
but DC loves pushing Batman, especially if he's written by Scott Snyder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you get the point, right? Like, in the cinematic universe, Iron Man started it all. And he deserves to be in the forefront. I just don't understand what the journalist came out and was saying all that stuff.
If you see those new posters, Wanda is front and center in one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you complaining about Black Panther when Wanda and Natasha are front and center in two of the posters?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But you know the poster I'm talking about, the one that's like looks like Thor Ragnarok-esque.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the new ones that have like the A's in different colors?
No, like the actual like movie poster. Like,
no, I don't like that poster.
That's what I'm saying. That's the big complaint when that first poster came out was
because
Iron Man was in the front, like the bigger, one.
Yeah, that poster is really bad. I don't like that poster.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like the dude complained that Black Panther wasn't the one that was enlarged and the one in the center and all that. And I don't know who that actual journalist is, but he's like, I remember on Twitter seeing all that, and I was like, wow, I don't understand. It's like journalists have become so entitled at times. Like,
yeah,
it gets me angry. But what do you think, Inspector?
Yeah, most journalists or bloggers are very entitled nowadays. Like some bloggers, like some journalists are, but I think entitledness is more attributed to bloggers, because the problem with bloggers is that they always have to try to get the big scoop, and they always like fight on scoops for some reason, and just makes them seem like they're unprofessional, because like they're kind of not professionals because they're bloggers and not actual journalists.
Yeah.
Like, no offense to like Humberto El Mayimbe or whatever. Like, he's a cool guy, but like they're very entitled to like what they and plus like most of the stuff they scoop on is wrong. But in terms of this journalist, yeah, I think he's just trying to be PC, like he or she is just trying to be very PC and saying, oh, why is Black Panther not like that poster was probably made before Black Panther came out.
Mm-hmm.
And so they didn't know if Black Panther was going to do well or not. And yeah, you have to know that these marketing campaigns are pretty much like when the movie enters pre-production, the marketing campaign starts. They just don't have all the like they don't put all the marketing out right away, of course, but they're starting the marketing, like they're starting posters and all that stuff. And like you said, Iron Man was the one that started it all. So without Iron Man, there would be no MCU. So it makes sense that he's in the middle, even though it's weird that he has a Thor Ragnarok pose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
like the problem with Marvel posters now is that they're all photoshopped and they all look like really bad. Like even like I'll even say like most of the DC posters are bad because there's bad Photoshop. Like I would say like either posters now are like cliche like big face poster or just really bad Photoshop. Especially when it's like big group posters. Like it just seems like they took photos of each person like on a soundstage, then they just like clipped everyone in, like cropped everyone in, and it just looks like really messy and like really bad.
Yeah.
Like Iron Man looks like really bad, and like everyone else just looks like they blend together.
Oh yeah.
Like the whole bottom part just looks like a huge blob. It's like really bad.
Oh yeah.
But I like the new posters. So the new posters are cool.
Yeah, it's like with the like individual teams, right?
Yeah.
Marvel DC fan, what do you think about that? What do you think about people complaining that Black Panther is not in the middle and Iron Man is?
Honestly, like, to those people, I feel that that's just like very childish of them. Like, why is Black Panther in the middle poster? Like, I get like the movie did really successful, and I'm really happy that it did, but Black Panther wasn't the foundation of the Marvel Cinematic Universe like Iron Man was. So, if anything, I would think they would put Iron Man in the middle of the poster because, like, without him, like you said, without him, there would be no Marvel Cinematic Universe or a Black Panther movie that we have now. So it's really terrible. Yeah, and I think like Inspector said, like people, bloggers, and like they're becoming so entitled. And when you were explaining this, I actually thought about another story that happened where this white couple went to go see Black Panther, and they were sitting next to this black couple, and one of them said that they were in the wrong theater, and they smashed a bottle over the white girl's face.
Story.
Yeah, I think that was fake. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, those are all fake. Those
Oh,
are,
man.
yeah.
A lot of bloggers are talking about it, though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, it's, yeah, like, I don't think, I think what they're doing is like, they're trying to, like, put out, like, how aggressive black people are, and, like,
Mm.
I don't, they're trying to push off, like, I think anti-black sentiment, and it was, like, it was really, like, unsavory and, like, kind of terrible what they did, because it was not cool.
Yeah. Going back to, the poster and everything, like, it's just wrong and very childish, like, for them to assume, like, because while Black Panther was great and all, he should be in everything, which is actually a problem that I have with Batman now, because I love the guy, but, like, they shove him into everything, and it's just, I want to see the greater scope of the DC universe, but I can't, because if it doesn't have Batman in it, then it's not successful. So, in the end, like, it's very childish and, whatever.
All right. What about you, Taladio? What do you think about the news for some bloggers complaining about Iron Man being in the middle instead of Black Panther?
It's childish, really. I'm the same. Like, it's childish. It's like you're saying, like, you know what? This person made a lot of money, but Iron Man didn't. The thing is, Iron Man made a lot of money back in 2008. He was the founder of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and pretty much that's what the foundation of. And it's the same thing with the DC side of things. You can't say, "Oh, Batman's the main leader of the thing," and you clearly know. Everyone knows this. Superman is the main thing for the Justice League. Everyone knows that, and it's like, you guys got to really think about it. Look at the comic books. Look back at the comic books. Look back at the cartoon shows. Was Black Panther ever in the leader situation? No.
Mm-mm.
Was Batman ever in the leader situation for Justice League? No. It was Superman. Superman was the founder. alongside Batman. But the thing is, Superman was
The main.
the main, yeah. So it's like that with Iron Man. He was the main founder of the Avengers, brought everyone together. So people are just being childish.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right, some breaking news, and I quickly want to talk about Wonder Woman 2 reportedly cast Game of Thrones vet Pedro Pascal.
Who's that?
So let me actually screen share with you guys.
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, he was also in Narcos. So let me do this real quick. And, how to do this? Okay, here we are. So this is Pedro Pascal.
Oh yes, okay.
He's also in he was in a movie recently, September. The Golden Circle. Frick, I forgot the movie. That spy movie. That's like rated.
Kingsman?
Yeah, Kingsman. He was.
Oh yeah, he was in Kingsman. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's in Narcos. So a variety of reports that Game of Thrones and Narcos star Pedro Pascal will be joining the cast in an unnamed role alongside Gal and fellow newcomer Kristen Wiig, who was recently cast as the villainous Cheetah. This isn't the first time Pascal and Jenkins have worked together. They previously teamed up on the TV movie Exposed. Nor is it Pascal's first comic book movie, having recently starred in Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Yeah, and Wonder Woman opened in theaters on December 13th, 2019. I did not know, actually, that Patty worked with Pedro. So that was actually brand new news to me, because I never thought they did work together. But it's very interesting. It's an unnamed role. I don't know what he would be starred in, what role. I actually have no idea.
I was thinking about this, and I was thinking what my guess he would play a villain, or so I was thinking or maybe he'll play like Zeus or someone, like a god, or like someone like that. Or I was thinking, since they were going into the 80s, and 80s Cold War was big in like spy stuff, and I was thinking that Maxwell Lord, who was the Black King of Checkmate in the comics before Wonder Woman killed him, before Infinite Crisis, I think it would be interesting. And plus, like, well, Maxwell Lord is white in the comics, but I don't think people would mind if he was. I think he's Mexican, isn't he, Pedro Pascal?
Yeah, I think so.
No, he's Chilean. He's from Chile.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from Chile. So yeah, I don't think they would mind if they like race bended Maxwell Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it would be interesting because Maxwell Lord is like known to be very like ruthless, because he's kind of like Purple Man, I guess. It's not mind control, but he like using suggestion to make people do what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
He was most recently in Justice League Suicide Squad, Justice League versus Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Villain in there. Yeah, so I think it would be interesting if he was like Maxwell Lord, or maybe I can't really think. I don't know if they would do this, but there's this villain named Sebastian Ballesteros. And he's like, I think Mexican or Central American, and he was actually a version of the Cheetah, but nobody likes him. No one likes Sebastian Ballesteros. He was killed like a year after he was created because no one liked him. Mm-hmm. So I doubt he would. He'll probably just be like a ally of Wonder Woman or something, another ally of Wonder Woman.
Gotcha. So for me, don't know the actual role he'll be in, but he's a good actor. Seen him, in Game of Thrones, in Narcos, and then Kingsman. He's a good actor. So I think the choice is good, but I don't know what the choice is for. So I think it's still a good actor. They worked previously together. That's also good to hear. They have a good working relationship with one another. But we got Spectre's point of view. But Marvel DC fan, what do you think?
I mean, I like the guy. I've seen him in some stuff, and he was good in what he was in. So I'm interested to see who he'll play, and to get on the point you're talking maybe he's Maxwell Lord or Zeus. I don't think, like you said, I don't think people will mind it. More because Maxwell Lord, he's a character who one say is, for me at least, he's not really notable DC. He's not too popular of a character.
He's not known, but he's notable because he founded the Justice League International, and he killed Blue Beetle. Well, not Jaime Reyes, but Ted Kord.
Right.
And he was the Black King of Checkmate, as I said before. His most famous thing is that he got his neck snapped by Wonder Woman. That's what everyone. That's what everyone remembers him for, because he was controlling Superman, and the only way that Wonder Woman can stop Superman was to kill Maxwell Lord, so she snapped his neck.
Yeah, so for a general audience, so having him cast as a character like that, I don't think anybody would mind too much, except hardcore fans. But I mean, they're always switching roles, in comic book movies all the time, Domino in Deadpool 2. She's a black woman in the movie rather than a white person. But I mean, whatever he plays, I'm sure he'll do well in it. So, and I'm excited for the movie anyway. So
one of my Twitter mutuals was Vandal Savage. I'm oh, that would be interesting, but Vandal Savage is such a convoluted character that I don't think they would
introduce him in this movie,
because he's immortal and he got his powers from a meteorite, and they retconned him so hard in the New 52 that it became really confusing.
Yeah,
I see him if they were going to do Vandal Savage, I see him more as a Justice League villain rather than a Wonder Woman villain. So
do him better than he was in Legends of Tomorrow, because what he was in Legends of Tomorrow, he was basically
he was not complex at all. He felt one note.
He was not Vandal Savage. He was half set, acting like Vandal Savage. If you don't know who the half set is basically a Hawkman villain who was the killer of Hawkman and Hawkgirl. He was the person who killed Hawkman and Hawkgirl and caused their infinite resurrection. And that's basically what he was in Legends of Tomorrow. Because he was infatuated with Hawkgirl. It was really weird.
You think they would have developed him, because wasn't he originally introduced in the crossover, right?
Yeah, and his actor, I commend his actor for shooting the most amount of scenery that he did. It was enjoyable watching him, but he wasn't Vandal Savage.
Yeah. All right, Talade, what do you think about this news, this casting news?
I think it's some good news. I also think I can't wait what they tell us with who the guy is gonna play. I can't wait to announce who they're gonna play. My best guess will be Maxwell Lord.
Yeah.
That's
okay. All right. So one more because this was breaking news. I just saw for the Wonder Woman casting. The last bit of news for the Avengers is I got worried, but then I thought about it, right? And this was because of the social media embargo, and the review embargo. And then I was thinking about it, oh my gosh, this movie's gonna suck. Then I was thinking to myself, wait, they pushed the movie.
They pushed the movie forward
because of spoilers.
Yeah, they want to keep spoilers to a minimum.
Which makes sense, because originally I was dude, this movie's gonna suck. Now I was oh boy, they have no confidence. No, but then I was thinking, wait, they did push it up for no spoilers. And that just makes more sense that they're doing that, because if you have it a day before, they do it with the Star Wars movies as well. So there's like barely any spoilers. And I understand why. You got this big event, right? And you want to keep spoilers to a straight up minimum. If you have, let's say, reviewers that have a week or two, right? They're gonna do it. I mean, you saw Grace Randolph with Justice League, right? With the spoilers for the post-credit scene. So I can understand Marvel and I guess Disney being cautious about having reviews out there when you have these plot twists and they're ruined for you. You already feel that the movie is ruined. And I totally understand that. And that makes the most sense to me. But I guess, Inspector, what do you think?
Yeah, as you said, like, they pushed this movie up because they wanted to, like, protect spoilers, make sure people don't get spoiled, and I think this is really smart that they're, like, usually what they do is that, okay, we're super confident in this movie, we're going to let the embargo lift 2 weeks before release. That's usually what Marvel does, because they know that their movie is going to get praised, so they just, like, set it out. Like, I think it's first the social media reaction, and then I think a week later the review embargo lifts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is smart, where, like, they don't want the journalists and the bloggers, because that's what happens. Like, it's the journalists and the bloggers that spoil the movie. So, because for some reason they think it's smart to release a spoiler review like 3 days before the movie comes out, or like a week before the movie comes out, and like people get mad at them. It's like, well, you didn't have to read the article. Yeah, well, don't release the spoiler review until the movie comes out. Like, you should have a bit of restraints. Like, if you're a journalist, like, you should have restraints in putting out spoiler reviews until the movie comes out. Like, yeah. Like, as you said, I'm not surprised. That's
okay. All right, Marvel DC fan, what do you think about the social media embargo being, closer to the release of the movie, as well as, the actual review being the day before the movie comes out?
I mean, I don't mind. Like, if they're all for protecting spoilers, then, I mean, go for it. And, I mean, like you were talking about reviewers posting spoiler reviews before the movie comes out. For me, like, I think if you're doing it beforehand, like, that's just wrong. At least wait at the latest, like, after opening weekend to get those spoilers out, but like at least give people some semblance of time to watch it. But I mean, if the embargo, they're overly protective about spoilers getting out and they want to put it a day before the movie comes out, I think that's fine. But yeah.
What about you, Taladio? What do you think?
I think I really think that it's I'm on the same playing field as Marvel DC fan. It doesn't really bother me that they're gonna review it the day before, and the embargo liftment. Hey, if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. So last week, Deadpool 2, I think it was Thursday, the trailer came out. Quickly give my thoughts real quick. Great trailer. I thought it was funny. I do think that the movie is shaping up to be a good movie. And I do like I honestly really like that first, scene of Deadpool running and just like trying to get Dopinder's attention. And he just like, then he just like jumps through the window. And I'm just like, oh, dude. And then the high heels, that was nice. I'm not going to lie.
Him in the wheelchair.
Oh, dude. I laughed right there.
Jonas in the wheelchair.
And then, like, them flying the freaking, I don't know the actual terminology, but, the ship they fly for X-Men. It looked really, and I mean really bad, like them flying it. So that was going to be a funny scene. I can guarantee you them flying the X whatever you call it, ship, because looks like they got no skills in flying. And the action scenes look quite good. They look like that rated R quality, and it looked like the budget is up compared to the first one. Of course, you got Terry Crews, you got Pennywise up in there. Like, dude, I really want a reference to Pennywise.
Terry Crews, getting more money than Old Spice commercials.
Oh, sure. Dude, it's been a while since I saw Terry Crews, and I think the last one was Expendables, right? I think so. Last movie. But yeah, dude, and they got like the X-Force, you know, them teasing that because they, you know, Ryan Reynolds wants to do the X-Force movie, so you're going to have those people, you know, return to X-Force, and Cable, you know, coming to, you know, kill, you know, the kid, because I'm assuming he might cause the, I don't know, some sort of apocalypse in the future. Something like that. But overall, you know, funny. I can't wait to see it. Better than all the trailers. That's my thoughts there.
Yeah.
Inspector, anything else to add?
As you said, it was a great trailer. I thought it was way better than the first one. The first one didn't really connect with me that much. I liked, as you said, like all the X-Men references. I like him in the wheelchair. I liked them flying the Blackbird. I like the reference where it's like, and young enough to hold their own franchise for 10 to 12 years. I love that line. And I love that they use LL Cool J as the song. I love that. Perfect fit.
Exactly.
And they cut it so well into the trailer. When the trailer started, like it slowly came in, and then like when he jumped out of the plane, it fully went into the song. I'm like, yeah. I was like jamming out to LL Cool J. And
it's been a while since I listened to some Cool J, not gonna lie. Marvel DC fan, what are your quick thoughts on the Deadpool 2 trailer?
I loved it. I thought it was a great trailer. Like all the beats, jokes, and stuff like that, they hit. It actually kind of makes me excited for an X-Force movie to happen. And I'm really confident that this movie won't be bad, you know, from what we've heard from
the rumors.
Test screenings and rumors from test screenings and that sort of thing. Like, I'm certain they're going to make a really good product out of it. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Still can't believe it. They got Bill Skarsgård in that movie. It's going to be interesting. My boy Pennywise. Taladia, what do you think about the Deadpool 2 trailer?
I liked it. Just got me thinking, you know, hopeful for this movie to be really good at the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited for it.
Nice. And yeah, guys, the movie comes out May 18th. So yeah.
One day before May 19th.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
I'm done with you.
Calm down, Kane.
Oh shoot. But no, yeah, make sure it's like 2 or 3 weeks after the Avengers movie. So yeah. Kind of like make sure to save that money, man.
Yeah.
A lot of movies be coming out. So couple of news for the other Fox movies, and it's not looking good for the New Mutants. We'll go into the New Mutants and
delayed again.
Yeah, it got delayed again. It's reported that Fox does not like the cut that has been shown to them, and they need like an overhaul. Because I know what Fox is doing, and I understand what they're trying to do from the leaked or rumors or whatever. They're saying they're trying to make these movies distinct, different, and not like, I guess you say, formulaic experience, right? Yeah. New Mutants is supposed to be that horror. It's supposed to be a horror type of like superhero movie, right? Well, they don't like it. They're gonna do, you know, more reshoots. Like this is like a lot of extensive reshoots, man.
Yeah.
Like,
and I know. Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Redwood. But I know this is like big conspiracy. But do you think they're pushing New Mutants back because of all the antitrust things with Disney? So they're pushing it back.
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
I know it's like
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I know it's a big conspiracy within like the fandom.
For me, it's like
I don't believe that. I just think they're not happy with the movie.
I don't think so either. And people want to say, are they meddling like WB? You could say, but like I think it's more like, for me, like WB makes the choices that they make because they just don't have good creative decisions. That's what I think, right? Now, has Fox done similar things? Yes, but I don't want to say I'm trusting Fox on this one, but if I'm hearing all these things about people in the audience not liking the film but liking the horror elements, and Fox hearing about that and saying because originally the trailers are horror, right? And
that one trailer, yes.
Yeah, so it gave the impression to people that this is going to be a horror movie. And then when they find out that there's barely any horror in it, they're like, the only stuff we'd like was horror. And they're like, oh, crap. And they just have to do a re-overhaul. And that's what I think. I'm going to say I'm going to give Fox benefit of the doubt here, even though I'm very cautious. Very, very cautious. Then we got X-Men Dark Phoenix. Now, this is from Collider. So take it with a grain of salt, but these are movies that have been delayed. It's been confirmed that they're delayed, but Collider's given the reason why for X-Men Dark Phoenix, and the reason for that is because they're trying to do reshoots and it's conflicting scheduling, for actors. So when they wanted to do the reshoots, I think it's like September or something like that the actors are unavailable. And to me, I was like, no, that can't be true. But then I was thinking, wait a minute. James McAvoy is one of the main actors, right? And James McAvoy is also going to be starring in Glass, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, because that movie's supposed to come out in 2019. So I'm just like, that kind of makes sense. But I'm not saying it's definite, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
But it makes sense as to why some of these actors may be unavailable. Now, Jennifer Lawrence, I don't know. I have no idea about her schedule. I don't know about Michael Fassbender's schedule. They might have other movies. But I know about James McAvoy having to do, Glass, which makes sense. So, but I guess, guys, what do we think about this? For me, like, I understand, some of this stuff, but, it overall doesn't give a good, like, positive look on Fox.
Yeah.
But we'll start off with Inspector.
Yeah. It just seems like Fox is incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, if you see... It's weird because if you see, like, Logan, and if you see, like, Deadpool and Deadpool 2, like, these are franchises or movies that people love.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Fox is unwilling to take... I mean, they took it with Deadpool mainly because it was Ryan Reynolds, and they wanted to back Ryan Reynolds. But you gave New Mutants to Josh Boone, who I think is like a really unknown director, and I think hasn't really directed that many good things.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't look good for New Mutants. Like, first it got pushed back a year. Then it got pushed back another, what is that, like 6 months?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and I wonder why Dark Phoenix got pushed back. I wouldn't think it would be because of Fantastic Beasts.
No.
Because even though Fantastic Beasts is part of like the Wizarding World, which is like a huge franchise, but like the first Fantastic Beasts made like a little over 800 million. Like, not to the level of like Harry Potter, but for a new franchise, that's pretty good. But I just think, plus Dark Phoenix is being directed by Simon Kinberg, who's a writer and not a director.
And this is his directorial debut.
This is his directorial debut, and just so you know, Simon Kinberg wrote both Fantastic and X-Men 3. So, not looking good. I think he's also writing Dark Phoenix, isn't he? Is he writing and directing Dark Phoenix?
Yeah, well, I think he did 3. I know he also did Days of Future Past, and then Fantastic. So he's only gotten one good.
Also?
Yes. Wait.
Okay.
Yes. Apocalypse. So he's only got like one good one okay one, and the other, bad.
So yeah, it's kind of rough trusting Simon Kinberg. And plus the X-Men timeline is just so messed up right now. Like there's pretty much like no timeline in the X-Men universe.
I mean, there is a timeline, but dude, these people don't age. It's like 10 years later. It's like, dude, they look the same.
Still looks like Jennifer Lawrence. She looks more bored. She looks like she looks even more like she's gonna fall asleep.
Yeah, and I'm just
Jennifer Lawrence at like 1 a.m.
It's like, yo, Michael Fassbender, you should be getting gray hair now.
Yeah.
It's like nothing.
I mean,
still the same hair.
Like, even with James McAvoy, it's like just give James McAvoy a bald cap. Like, they're not gonna shave his head. Just give him a bald cap.
Mm-hmm.
And like, whatever. Like, I like Days of Future Past. I like X1, X2, First Class, and Days of Future Past.
I thought 3 was trash. Origins was trash. I thought Apocalypse was
and
okay.
Logan. But Logan isn't like. I'm just talking about the X-Men group film. It's not like the solo films.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my favorite next to X2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but 3 was straight up trash. Like, oh gosh. And then Apocalypse for me was an okay.
They tried. What 3 did is that they tried to adapt a Joss Whedon story, because that story that they tried to adapt was from Joss Whedon's Astonishing X-Men run, and it was way better handled in the comic than it was in the movie. It was really bad in the movie, but if you haven't read that, you should. It's actually pretty good. Like, I know Joss Whedon isn't really like. I know Joss Whedon is pretty much persona non grata in comic book fandom now, but like his Astonishing X-Men run, at least the first half of it was really good.
Yeah. All right, Marvel DC fan, what do you think about this news?
Well, I mean, like, it's hard for me to have faith in a project like, Dark Phoenix when we've basically seen absolutely nothing for it. Like, they had some of the photos come out of, like, Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique and, like, what the Phoenix will look like, but it's just...
At least they got their classic costumes,
Yeah.
After how many years? Oh, too many.
Well, like, when did the first X-Men come out? Like 2000? So...
guys, just sorry to interrupt. I'm going to have to go. It's already 4:30 in the morning.
See you later.
Sorry, guys.
So, I mean, getting back to what I was talking about, like, it's just, like, for New Mutants and stuff, it was horror, and I was actually kind of excited about it, but, like, this whole thing with Fox is just, they need to let the directors and writers stuff make the movie. Like, we've seen this with, Fox, and not just Fox, but also with Warner Brothers, tampering with the movie and just kind of all that, and how that results is, terrible products, or not as great as it was, like Justice League, for example. But if they just let them make the movie and just kind of stay away, then maybe, like, it might turn out well. But, like, at this point, I've, like, got, like, no excitement for Dark Phoenix or New Mutants at this point. So,
at least you can give Fox some credit here, where they're delaying it, whereas Justice League should have been delayed as well.
Very true.
That's what I'm also saying. It's like at least they got the decency to be like, all right, we're gonna keep delaying it. Granted, does it make them look bad? Yeah, it's gonna make them look really, really bad. But at least you got the chance to somehow make a good film, whereas like the allotted time is constrained with WB with Justice League, but hopefully we can only hope that these movies will be good.
Yep, very true. I'll give you that.
But now, coming into, I guess Doomsday Clock. I heard some good things about Doomsday Clock. I know the premise. I know the premise is Rorschach, the new Rorschach's origin, how he came to be. I also know, but I don't know, because I'm not going to say spoilers because I don't even know the spoilers. All I know is from, some talks that one of the theories about who Rorschach is correct. I don't say because I don't know, but
yes, one of the theories is correct.
That's what I'm saying. But overall, I heard good things. They've been rating this high.
Yes, it was my theory, so I won't spoil it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, kind of my theory and kind of not, because it's like I won't spoil it, but I thought it was a really good issue because it showed the origins, it showed, and what it did, it was actually really smart. What Johns did is that if you've read Watchmen, you know that Rorschach got arrested, and he was being he had a psychiatrist named Malcolm Long who was asking him these questions, and what it shows is that the new Rorschach, he was also arrested in the Watchmen universe, but what it shows is that it shows a parallel between him and Arkham, because Batman put him in Arkham in the last issue, in issue 3, and shows a parallel between his psych evaluation and Rorschach's psych evaluation in Watchmen #6, and because it parallels, it's him with a psychiatrist, and he's kind of he's kind of like a large kind of schlub, and he's trying to prove something like the psychiatrist, and it's really interesting how he becomes Rorschach, and his first confrontation with Ozymandias, where Ozymandias is who are you, and why are you trying to be Rorschach? And it's very interesting. And I know people are kind of dropping off Doomsday Clock. Even I know the previous issue before this, some people weren't a fan of it, and now that's becoming bi-monthly. People are kind of dropping off. They're I'm just gonna wait for the trade. I think this is a book where you can't wait for the trade because such big things are happening in this book that it would be a disservice. Well, it would be a disservice to wait for the trade because you're gonna be spoiled.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the trade isn't gonna come out until the end of next year. Because this story isn't gonna end until summer of 2019. So you're basically waiting a year and a half for the trade. Mm-hmm. Which I think is a mistake. Plus the art is just phenomenal. Gary Frank just kills every page, and Brad Anderson is just an amazing colorist. So
yeah, and what I always have to say is for DC's art, usually most of DC's art. Sometimes there have been misses, but most of it 80 to 90%, they're always hits.
Perfect art between books. So.
Mm-hmm. And what I always love about Doomsday Clock is the artwork itself. It just looks really, really good. And that's what I think Marvel lacks at like 70 to 80% of the time. I think their art just isn't good. And
Because
that's what I wish.
Because like Marvel and DC have two totally different styles. Like it's weird because Marvel is more like, I guess, like real world, and DC is more like aspirational. So you would expect DC to have more of the stylized artwork and Marvel to have more of the realistic artwork, but it's totally flip flops.
Oh yeah.
Marvel has the more stylized artwork, where DC has the more realistic artwork.
Yeah.
Like really weird because Gary Frank is like really realistic. Ethan Van Sciver is really realistic. Like there are stylized artists in there, and there are Marvel artists coming over to DC.
Yep.
So yeah.
And yeah, what you said, like realistic artwork, like that's what I liked about Ultimate Spider-Man was the art itself, like the Ultimate Spider-Man run.
Yeah,
it's like the art is really, really good.
Like the art, yeah. Mark Bagley was the artist mostly on that, and Mark Bagley was like a proven Spider-Man artist before that, and like his art is like really cartoony, but it fits the tone of the book
exactly.
And like the problem with most Marvel art now is that it doesn't really fit the tone of the book. It's either too dark or it's too stylized, so it's just becomes like a mess of art. Where like my pull list is like significantly like I've cut a lot of books from my pull list recently. I used to be at like I think 14 or 15 books. I'm at like 5 or 6. And like there's still some like really good stylized artists at DC, like Mikel Janin, who's doing Batman right now, but I dropped Batman not because of his art, just because I didn't like how it was written. He's really good. Who else? Rafa Sandoval and Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps. His art is really good. Yeah. Those are the two that I can name off the top of my mind, but there's more. Yeah. That's all I have to say about like DC art and
gotcha. So Marvel DC fan, have you kept up with Doomsday Clock, or you're gonna like somehow read it later or something like that?
I have been keeping up with it. I haven't had the chance to read this latest issue, so I mean, I'm probably in the next day or two I'm gonna sit down and read it. But I've been enjoying what Doomsday Clock has been so far, and I'm really excited to see what they do now and for later on with this series. So, can't wait to read it.
And like, what cover did you get, Red Hood? Did you get the pancake cover or did you get the other cover?
So is the pancake the definitive? Because I haven't picked mine up yet. So
the pancake is the regular cover.
Okay, so probably gonna be the pancake.
Yeah, like
unless I go and get a variant cover or something.
Yeah. The pancake is the default cover, and the variant is like Rorschach walking away from the fire.
Okay.
And I got that cover, even though I like the pancake cover. I like that cover a lot. Because the Rorschach walking away from the fire. And the next cover is going to be Joker with like the nostalgia makeup on. And Brad Anderson and Gary Frank have been like teasing other covers from the series. There's this one is for Doomsday Clock 6. Well, they've shown all the covers for like 5, 6, and 7.
Okay.
But 6 and 7 are really cool. 6 is like Ozymandias, I think Mime and Marionette, but they're like puppets. And 7 is Rorschach beating up Joker, but like Joker's off panel, and like if you look up like on the top of the cover, you see Batman just in shadow. It's like a really cool cover. I'll show it to you after the podcast is done.
Yeah, I got you. So I guess want to quickly, I guess, talk about the Justice League
Yeah.
runs and stuff like that. That
Yeah.
Inspector will talk about.
I'll quickly talk about this. So on Saturday, DC had a panel held at WonderCon, which is a big comic book event, a big comic book convention, one of the big 5 comic book conventions of the year, along with Emerald City, C2E2, San Diego, New York Comic Con. WonderCon is in Anaheim, California. This is where they first showed off Rebirth for the first time back 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning, they were just like going over the new imprints, like giving more information about like Black Label and Ink and Zoom and those imprints. But at the end, they brought out Scott Snyder. Jim Lee and Dan DiDio were moderating the panel. They brought out Scott Snyder, and what I found funny is that Scott Snyder was just telling everyone what's going to happen in this event, and you could just tell, like, Jim Lee and Dan DiDio were just like, "Okay, Scott, you're telling them too much. You can calm down now." I was joking on Twitter, like, Scott Snyder about to get fired for telling us all these spoilers. But the big thing is, like, 2 weeks ago, it was announced that Scott Snyder was taking over the Justice League book. It was going to be him, Jim Chung, and Jorge Jimenez. Those 2 are the artists. And of course, they're going to be like working out the Hall of Justice. They're bringing up the Hall of Justice back, and it's basically the animated team, including Aquaman and Cyborg for some reason. And of course, Barry Allen is still the Flash, but you get what I mean. But what they're doing now is that they're branching off, and they're creating 2 different teams. They're bringing back Justice League Dark, which is being written by James Tynion, who's currently doing Detective Comics, and Alvaro Martinez, who was his artist on Detective Comics. And that team is Wonder Woman, who's leading the team, Detective Chimp, Dr. Fate, Zatanna, Swamp Thing, and I think I'm missing one. I think that's the team. No, I think I'm missing one. Let me look up the cover in a moment. This be dark. New Justice. Hold on. Let me see the cover. So, oh yeah, it's Detective Chimp, Zatanna, Dr. Fate, and Man-Bat, which is interesting. Man-Bat is, it looks like Alan Moore. It's like really funny. Like he has like the long dreads and the long beard. Everyone's been saying that he looks like Alan Moore. I find it hilarious. But and there's a new and that's like, of course, Justice League Dark is like the magic team, mystical team, and the next team is the space team. It has Cyborg, Starfire, Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern, Azrael, and this sweet new badass design, and Darkseid, who's on the team. And he's like younger Darkseid. He's not like big buff Darkseid. He kind of looks like Ronan the Accuser from Guardians of the Galaxy. He has like the hood and like everything. He has an orb. So that's the space team. And that's being written by Joshua Williamson and being drawn by Stefan Sejic, who was an artist on Aquaman before. So what are your thoughts on the team? We'll start, I guess, the teams. I guess we'll start with you, Red Hood.
For me, I feel teams are pretty varied. I don't know which one I'll actually, really want to read. I feel like I always, for me, kind of wait for like the reviews to come in, people's opinions to be formed on Twitter, to actually be like, okay, I'm gonna get this, Justice League run, or see if that it'll be a good run, because I haven't actually read a Justice League run yet, because I don't know. It's always been for me. It's like
Justice League has been pretty lackluster for the past few years under Brian Hitch and those people. Like, it hasn't really been the good book since Darkseid War ended back in the New 52, and I'm personally looking for I'm looking forward to all three of these new Justice League books. But Justice League Dark in particular, just because I love James Tynion and his work on Detective Comics. So that's going to be an instant pickup for me, especially since Martinez is doing the art. And his art is amazing. Same thing with Sedgwick. Sedgwick has more of like a painted style. Not like Alex Ross, but he's more like, I can't really describe. It's hard to describe. It's like stylized and painted, but it's like, I guess, sexy, I guess, because he's known for like a really like sexy webcomic. And he also drew Witchblade for a while, which is known for like her sex appeal. So, but I'll show you the I tweeted you the covers, didn't I, on Twitter?
No.
Oh, I guess I'll just post them in the chat. You can talk while I.
No, I got you. But for me, like, just think that's very interesting. I think that's very like bold choices that they're making, and kind of going into a new path for the Justice League. Because what you said, it's like lackluster, and that's why I kind of, when I go to my comic store, I'm just like seeing what people read and hearing what they say. And they're just like, yeah, most of them dropped Justice League, and that's kind of why I didn't go into the runs for the Justice League, and I just kind of want to see that change in quality, and hearing that it's going to be a possibility makes me excited. But I'm going to be still waiting for that change to happen, and then I will jump on board.
Okay, Marvel DC then.
I mean, like, from what I've seen, it all looks really cool and interesting. But if anything, I might wait for, like, word of mouth, because I'm not really certain, because I tried to pick up Justice League during, Rebirth, and at one point I just kind of put it down, and I was like, you know what, I just don't feel like reading it anymore, so... Mm-hmm. If anything, I'll just wait for word of mouth to come out about it, or at least what you have to say about it before I start reading.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I guess we'll go into the next topic.
Yeah.
Okay. This is actually, I forgot this last movie topic, and then we're gonna talk about the last something with Geoff Johns, and then we're done. So the person that plays Agent Coulson, from when was he first introduced? Iron Man 1?
Yeah, Iron Man 1.
I completely forgot he was in Iron Man 1 when I kind of did the Infinity War challenge. I was like, wait, I never knew he was in Iron Man 1.
Like, you're doing that? You're doing the Infinity War challenge? You're watching every episode?
Yeah. I'm doing it, but I kind of like, because of school and all this other stuff and watching TV shows, I'm kind of behind, like really behind.
I have all the MCU movies. I only have Winter Soldier and Iron Man.
Yeah. I got most of them for like presents and stuff, so it's like...
Oh, and Guardians. So I have 3 of them. 3 out of the 15 or 16.
I have to get some more, though. Like, I haven't gotten, like
to
Thor
be honest,
2.
I probably, I couldn't do this because I can't watch Thor Dark World again.
Oh, dude, I fell asleep in the movie. Dude,
I can't.
I was like, dude, it's over.
I can't watch Thor Dark World or Age of Ultron or Iron Man 3. Like, I can't watch those.
Yeah, I got you, man.
Like, at least I can get a laugh out of Iron Man 2, so I can watch Iron Man 2. Even though, like, Iron Man 2 is not the best, but I can get a laugh out of it. Get the bird. He wants his bird.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, Yeah, and so Agent Coulson's going to be in Captain Marvel. It makes sense because in that time frame he was still working with Shield and still,
not
yeah, not. I mean, I mean,
not dead. Well, he's dead in the movie continuity, but not
yeah,
in the Shield continuity.
yeah. So it's like
MCU continuity, but it's like really weird.
it's like in the MCU, but it's not in the. It's yeah. That's a whole bunch of mess there. But yeah, no. So they kind of like, oh, we'll do it. But people are making the theory like Agent Coulson's coming back, confirmed. Avengers 4, he'll show up, and I'm just like, it's never gonna happen, guys. Dude. I would be down for it, but it's not gonna happen. But overall, it makes sense. You got Nick Fury and then Coulson. It just makes the perfect sense to have him in the movie. And I think he's a good actor, to be honest. And, he brings that levity, the funniness and the quirks. You know what I mean? But what about you, Inspector? You think this is a good move to have him on?
I totally blanked. Sorry.
It's all good. You think it's a good move to have, Agent Coulson?
Oh yeah, I think
I
it's a good move. Yeah, knowing how popular Agent Coulson is, and knowing that this is, I guess, since the MCU takes place in real time, this takes place about 18 years, give or take. Like, it takes place in the 90s. They haven't really specified a year. So I'll just say like 20 years before Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense. And knowing that, like, I mean, she's an Air Force pilot, but I guess she, like, probably had run-ins with S.H.I.E.L.D. But, like, I don't know if Coulson was S.H.I.E.L.D. back then. He probably was, like, in the Army or in the Air Force or something. Because, like, I would think S.H.I.E.L.D. would be more underground in the 90s. But, yeah. I think it's smart.
Exactly. Marvel DC fan, what do you think?
I mean, like, yeah, it's a good move. Like, I like Agent Coulson as a character, and it'll be interesting to see what Coulson was up to during the 90s and that kind of time period. If he was, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., if he wasn't yet, kind of seeing his upbringings, like, it'll be cool. And, like, I was actually talking to my brother about this yesterday, and, he was going over, like, maybe this will be the, to bring Coulson back in the movies, and I'm like, I'm not really certain on that, because, like, to the world, like, he is dead, even though in the show, like, he went on television, stuff like that, but whatever.
He went to Tahiti.
It's Tahiti, my boy.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I think for, like, in the present day MCU, like, he's just off on his own. He's in the show. He's just there, but, like, for Captain Marvel, and it'll be, like, interesting to see what Coulson was doing in that time. So I'm excited.
Nice. Yeah, for me, I can't wait. I love Coulson, and Agent Shield for me got better and stuff like that after like.
Still like, I'm still hesitant on this Captain Marvel movie just because, like, I mean, Brie Larson looks fine, like in the costume, but like this character, like, just the way it looks, I know what they're trying is, like, they're trying not to make it like Green Lantern, but that picture looks way too much like Green Lantern to me. Like, she just looks like female Hal Jordan. It just was like that. That's not a problem. It's just like, and plus, like, not a lot of people like Carol Danvers as a character, especially after Civil War II.
Oh yeah, that's a problem. That's what I think. Hopefully, Marvel Studios knows what to avoid, When they can. Okay, so I know a lot of people like myself are like, you have to stick to the character's core, right? Now,
But she doesn't have a core.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. For her, they can just change her up, to be honest. A lot of people don't like her, and my thing is Marvel Studios can use that to their advantage and be like, okay, a lot of people don't like... We're going to make our own version of what Captain Marvel and our MCU should be.
But, like, the problem with Carol Danvers, even before she was Captain Marvel, she was, like, a total wreck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the 90s, like, especially in the 90s, where, like, she gave birth to her boyfriend.
What? I never heard about this. What?
Like,
no.
Her boyfriend, like, it was like an alien.
What the?
And, like, he, like, seduced her into having sex with her, and then it was like a time paradox.
No.
Dude. And then it's so weird, but that was the 90s, so everything was, like, really weird in the 90s.
Oh my god.
It's extreme because it's 90s.
Yeah, it's extreme because it's 90s. And, like,
dude,
he was always seen as, like, a sex object, and, like, she dated Scott Lang for a while before Scott Lang died. Before Scott Lang got blown up in Avengers Disassembled. And, like, her dream in House of M was, like, she's the most popular superhero, but, like, after House of M ended, that was taken away from her. So it's like, like, it just kind of sucks to be Carol Danvers.
I gotcha. No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, they just need to make her their own version. Or make her what they want her to be. So to speak.
Hey, it worked for Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, like Tony Stark was a dick for the movies.
Exactly.
I mean, he's still a dick, but he's
less of a dick.
Yeah. He's an entertaining dick.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he was also an alcoholic, so... I mean, they had liberty to change. Also, it made sense for Robert Downey Jr. not to have that and not to do that. Yeah. So it's like... It just made sense. Okay, so we're going to do the last topic. Last topic is... Geoff Johns, the biggest controversy of the whole entire universe. King to flames when on his Facebook background picture he put Hulk. Dude, everyone's like, this man is a Marvel spy. This man is sabotaging the DCEU. You see his true colors right there. I told you guys. I told you. Justice League is all of his fault. Burn him to the stake, they all said. And, yeah, no, I'm dead serious. That was legit.
Yeah,
everyone was saying.
All over Twitter. Just like, oh my god.
It's like... I don't even think it's like the DC Comics fans. It's most of the DC. It's the DCU fans.
Snyder fans.
Yeah. So it's like, wow. I'm just like, I was surprised. I was like, looking at my Twitter feeds and hearing about this, and dude, even Film Gob, dude, I do not like that guy whatsoever, and
nobody likes Film Gob.
And he's like, he's a snake. I'm like, what? How is he a snake? Like, dude.
They call him like all the Snyder fans, like all the hardcore Snyder fans is like, he's Judas, he's a backstabber. I'm like, okay. Whatever you say, man. You do you. Like, I don't want to argue. You're just gonna...
I'm just like, dude, Geoff Johns wrote so many good stories. Compare, like, let's be real. Compare Geoff Johns' like resume of what he's created and his stories and all that, and no offense to Zack Snyder, and compare it to Zack Snyder. I'm just saying,
Yeah, like
You see the differences
like,
there.
no ill will on Zack Snyder because like I enjoy his movies. Like they're by no means the greatest, but I enjoy them. But like you can't really compare him to like Jeff Johns because it's like two different mediums. But um, if you look at Jeff Johns, he recreated the whole Green Lantern mythos. He wrote two. He wrote a run. He wrote two like notable runs with the JSA. He wrote a notable Superman run. Wrote the definitive origin for Superman, which is still used in continuity today. Well, because he runs DC and he's Jeff Johns, so he does what he wants. So so it's his origin for Superman, which is Superman's secret origin. He brought back Barry Allen. He brought back the multiverse with Infinite Crisis. He reshaped the multiverse with 52. He shepherded the new 52 with Justice League, even though some people are more mixed on its Justice League run. Like, I'm of the opinion on its Justice League run that it began rocky, but when it got to Forever Evil, it got good. Like from Forever Evil onward, it was good, and I liked Forever Evil. His Aquaman run was great. And they're adapting parts of his Aquaman run into the Aquaman movie. And I think he worked with James Wan on Aquaman. And he's doing his most ambitious story right now, which is Doomsday Clock. Like it's his most ambitious story yet because he's doing something that not a lot of people like, that he's folding in the Watchmen to the DC universe.
Yeah, it's like a big legacy to blow up to.
Yeah, and plus, like, hardcore comic book fans are like, "Don't touch Watchmen. It's the Bible. Alan Moore's Bible. It's comic book." Like, first off, Alan Moore lives in a cave in London. He doesn't care about comic books anymore. Like, and plus he signed the contract. So these characters are owned by DC, not by him. You can't just lock away everything Alan Moore did in a vault for no one to see. That's just ignorance. Like, I like Alan Moore, but he's not Jesus. Like, he's not comic book god Alan Moore. But a lot of people think like that and are ignorant. So.
Yeah, but what you're saying was true, and it's like also like, didn't he say like I think one of his favorite Marvel characters is Hulk, right? Wasn't that like a thing too? Like, is there a problem with him just like liking Hulk?
Yeah, Jim Lee drew him like a Colossus a few months ago for his birthday. So, like, it's fine for a DC person to like Marvel. It's fine. Like, it's just like fans where it's like, it's fine if you like both. Like, it's fine if you like both Marvel and DC. Like, it shouldn't be so tribalist that it always has to be Marvel versus DC.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you didn't see people like getting mad at like Kevin Feige talking with Geoff Johns and saying, like, he had a great time working with with the Superman movie and stuff like that and all that. You weren't like, oh, this man, they're conspiring to sabotage each other. It's like, nah. It's like they both like each other's works and stuff like that. It's not like uncommon, to be honest. Right. It's like even like Shuhei Yoshida, right? The dude from PlayStation has a Nintendo Switch. Like, you don't see people like, you traitor. You're playing a Switch. What is wrong with you? Not like, people can like every other thing. And I also I did think there was a funny one where people were like, maybe like he chose the Hulk thing because he's getting pissed off at people saying like the Justice League is his fault. I was just like, hey man, I wouldn't blame him if I would get pissed off because people are blaming me for something I had nothing to do with. Like,
Yeah.
in all seriousness. But I don't think that was it either. I just think he just wanted to show it off, and because he likes Hulk. It's nothing. It's been done so many times throughout history in companies and stuff like that. But you know, the extremists have to overblow everything. But Marvel DC fan, what do you think about their savage fanboys trying to crucify our man Geoff Johns? Because dude, the dude is creating a good, you know, some good comics. Doomsday Clock, for instance, like it's getting out of hand. Let the poor man work and not threaten his life because he has the Hulk background for Facebook.
It's just dumb. Like you said, it's like just because he works for DC and stuff like doesn't mean that he can't like other things. And I think like that point like goes for everyone. Like I'm sure like the Marvel guys, they like DC Comics and vice versa.
Yeah.
Take
like,
me for example. It's even in my name that I like both of them.
Yeah, like
and it's
like,
just
take Kevin Feige for example. Both him and Geoff Johns worked under Richard Donner.
Yeah, for Superman.
Directed both of the Superman movies.
Yeah, it's just like people can like both things. Like you're not just guaranteed to like one thing and just stick with that.
Like I forgot if Geoff Johns liked Ragnarok or not, but I think he did. And like I don't know if they like land back
try to crucify him for it.
Yeah, it's like just calm down. Like it's okay for him to like a Marvel movie.
Yeah. He likes the Hulk and like there's nothing wrong with that. Like let the man be.
Yeah, I think as Red Hood said, I think he said Hulk is one of his favorite characters, so it's fine. And plus it's an Alex Ross Hulk drawing, so that doesn't that helps because it's Alex Ross.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna wrap things up. Unless anyone has anything else to say on anything else.
No.
Okay, so we're gonna do our outros. Guys, I want to say thank you for watching. I do think last episode we were actually I was surprised 31 views. Happy about that because we're steadily increasing in those views, and I'm glad about that. And quickly, I want to say I got a couple things that I got down the pipeline. I keep saying that right, but
down the
pipeline. It's just I've been busy, but this week I should have at least a video. One video. I promise one video will come out. It's going to be mostly about Sea of Thieves. I'm going to go in depth about what's wrong with it, what's wrong with the extremists, the fanboys, and kind of go in depth with that. I wrote about half a page right now, but I'm going to write some more stuff and examples. But other than that, that's going to be definitely coming this week, and some other things as well. But guys, if you did enjoy this podcast, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content for the Overleveled podcast, hit that subscribe button. And also, when you do hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you guys can get updated as when the live streams, hit. And share this, podcast with your friends. But and Inspector, where can they find you at?
Well, they can follow me on Twitter at mteladia. They can follow me on Twitter at the Inspector.
And
Claudia.
Oh sure. Marvel DC fan, where can they find you at?
Well, of course, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Red Hood 420.
Yeah.
And no, I'm kidding. Of course, my YouTube channel, which is Marvel DC Fan X99. You can follow me on Twitter, which is at Marvel DC Fan X99. You can friend me on Facebook if you want to, which is Marvel DC Fan on Facebook. And, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And we're doing some Crash Bandicoot, of course. We're getting all the gems and stuff and all that, jazz.
Nice.
So,
anything after Crash you got planned, or what?
well, I was thinking about going back to Telltale stuff, but
Okay.
I'm not sure if I want to continue what I started with The Walking Dead or move on to, just to be different, start Batman Season 1. So
Okay.
maybe I'll put a poll on Twitter and you guys decide. But
No.
anyway, take care.
No. Guys, follow them, subscribe to them, do everything that's necessary. Just don't stalk them. That's all I ask. But guys, this is the Overleveled Podcast. Signing off.
See you later, guys.
See you guys.